Plastic Head song. Not a TBG song. He's a completely different guy for TBG. He's a strange cat. That Charlie Bronson. It's a cool one though. I like this. Feels like it needs words. Anytime I hear music without words, I'm like, man, it needs words. All right. Let's get on with the show. Israel sucks. Judaism's terrible. Cancer of the earth. We need to fix the shit by eliminating the cancer. God damn, you fucking moron. God. You just have your turn signal on. Why wouldn't you, turn? Just make that choice at the last second. You fucking moron. Didn't even throw up an I'm sorry hand. That's how you know somebody's an asshole. What drugs are we getting today, dude? Fucking silly, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that stupidity. That's the best you can come up with. I get it. There's literally no fear when that's your best. That is your best. It's fucking wild, but that is your best. Okay? You start talking about fucking... You're the best! Thank you!
He supports the genocide of the Palestinians beneath the Israeli apartheid.
I'm sorry?
Where are you from?
Redford.
Redford?
Yeah. And I hate everything Israel.
Well, this sign is advertising a future musical that my husband wrote.
Really?
Yes, and there's music that's professional, okay? And I think when they have the final date of when it's going to be performed, it'll be on the fence. So
sweet. Well, I have a live feed. I'm live right now, so I'll be absolutely happy to champion you guys.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Good.
Thanks.
Everything they do is terrible.
Yep.
She does that shit. A musical, her husband. Duh! You know how when you're in the car, nobody can talk to you, right? If nobody talk to me, I'm driving. I can't handle having a conversation while I'm driving. If I was even driving. Good thing I have a driver though, huh? But it's things like this again. What drugs are you buying? Blah, 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 all this shit. You can't actually engage or debunk anything I'm saying. So you just go with dumb shit. I get you. I appreciate you being stupid enough to keep acknowledging the truth. Okay? This shit would be so much harder for me to prove without your examples. And you just constantly, every single thing you say is another example of exactly what I'm talking about. If I was wrong, guys, people would say so. Nobody's sitting here, they got this really great argument, they're just waiting for me to say the right thing, and then they're going to drop this ultra great argument that puts me in my person, but they don't have it. If they had the argument, they'd say so. They wouldn't have to pull teeth trying to get it. You ain't speaking truth, says some really intelligent person. Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't kill pedos, right? It's not fuck everything Friar, right? If everything Friar, everything Israel, nah, none of that. You must be a piece of shit then, huh? You pedophiles, you stick together, that's for sure. I'll give you that. Let me guess. You're a Trump supporter. You guys make this so easy. It's crazy. It's just crazy. But, you know, I mean, when you look at the way this shit works and you look at how bad and fucked up things are, like, who do you expect to be the supporters? Who do you expect to be an Israel supporter? Who do you expect to be a Trump supporter? Are you expecting it to be some intelligent person? What have you done with the time you've been given? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I found people online talking about killing pedos, and then I trolled them. There you go. Yep, show your loyalty. I talk about genocide and pedophilia, and you fly the Israeli flag. What a surprise. What a coincidence. That's how stupid they are, right? That's what I keep trying to say to you. They're so stupid. It's like they don't or maybe they just don't care that they're advertising, that they're proving the point. I don't have to prove the point. They do. You fly your pedophile flag over and over again. Like, I'm saying, if you fly that flag, you're acknowledging that you're a pedophile, especially on my stream. And of course, you're going to go, okay, cool, let me fly that flag then. Because I'm a pedo, because you fuck kids. This is like part of the friar religion. This is like going to temple. This is like how, you know, Christians take their communion and shit. They rape children. It's part of their thing. And see, as soon as I say, you know, they do what I tell them to do, right? I mean, other than the kill themselves part, I really wish they would kill themselves. But when I'm like, here, let me walk you into it, show everybody that we're talking to the pedophile, genocidal people, you're like, yeah, let me help you with that. Good gravy. Everybody's passing you. Maybe you're on your phone. Dumb broad's on her phone. There you go. Has Itmar Ben-Gvir been seen yet? I haven't seen that yet. I totally forgot about that shit. I guess we'll look at it. I mean, he should have made an appearance by now to prove he's still alive. I hope he's not. Jerusalem is the gayest city in the world. I mean, I don't understand how that's a burn. I wouldn't say gayest. I would say worst. Pedophilic, whatever. If you're some goofus white dude, all homophobic, well, you know, whatever. Definitely not the happiest city in the world. They're the fucking worst. And by if you're trying to hide behind your homosexual bigotry, well, that's just stupid. You're leaving out a lot of stuff. You know, if it was just dudes fuck each other, I wouldn't give a shit, right? But it's pedophiles. Let's focus on the real problem here, and the real problem is the pedophiles. It's a pedophile system. It's a system designed to perpetuate pedophilia. And Israel doesn't exist. Israel is just a construct. Israel is, you know, they tell you Israel exists between this invisible line and that invisible line. And you go, oh, okay, I guess if you say so. You guys tell me how to think about everything, so if you say to think this way, I'll think this way. Most people are pretty dumb. Like, look, we already have people on here bragging about pizza. Like, at this point, especially nowadays, like, it was one thing when you could cry and be like, oh, Pizzagate's fake, but nowadays it's pretty obvious that Pizzagate was not fake. And to use those references completely out of context, or in the context of we're talking about pedophilia, so you start bringing up pizza shit, like, nobody thinks that's funny. Nobody does that as a joke. Well, nobody who doesn't fuck with children does that as a joke. Obviously, pedophiles think that shit is, you know, and you're gonna say it. You love raping children in Israel. Go figure. Go figure. The admitted dumbass, the obvious dumbass, is going to fucking say he loves raping children in Israel. What a surprise. Are you guys surprised by that? You think people still care about children, bro? Yeah, bro. Look at these pieces of shit, man. I mean, to me, like, if you were here and you started making pizza jokes and shit, I'd just beat the shit out of you. But we know you're a coward who, you know, only is tough like that on the keyboard. I'll go. Look at this. We've got pizza jokesters. They're making pizza jokes. Aren't they funny? I really encourage people to figure out who these people are and bring them to justice. Right? Bring them the proper justice they deserve. I absolutely encourage the genocide of pedophiles. Just destroy them. But again, they're fucking cowards, right? They're cowards. Keep going, man. Keep pointing it out. Keep pointing it out. If anybody can figure out who this person is, you know, dox the fuck out of them. Let everybody know if they're a pedophile. Man, that shit that's been like 3 days.
When you come across a pedo, kick him in the dick. Don't slap him in the head. No, kick him in the dick. a rebel, kick 'em in the dick. Even if they got regret, yo, kick 'em in the dick. Couple bucks better.
Make a second video here. So. So I've driven by this now. Let's turn this over. Just forget some jiggles. So I've driven by this now multiple times. Oh shit! Oh, I gotta take the Bluetooth off for a second. All right, so this is Outer Drive in Detroit. If you know, you know this area here. I've driven by this fire hydrant now for like 3 days, and it's just been leaking. It's out of service. It's who's paying for this again? Because I know here in Detroit, if you don't pay your bill, they'll shut you off. Even if you have kids, even if you're elderly, even if whatever, they come after you for a couple $100. So this running like this for like 3 days here in Metro Detroit, what do you think this does? Who pays for this? It's pretty fucked up, don't you think? Cop just drove by me doing it too. A cop just drove by as I'm filming the obvious bullshit here. I wish I would have had that on the video, but alright, so this is oh. Surprised the cop didn't even fucking stop. Cop didn't stop. Cop didn't give a fuck. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Out of service. Spitting out water for 3 fucking days. Cop literally drove by me. Doesn't care. Doesn't care. And then we've got these same fucking cowards. I mean, this water, look at it, it's pooled up. It's been draining for such a long time that it's just pooling up everywhere. So fucked up. I wish you weren't such a coward, but again, you're a piece of shit fryer. Like, what does anybody expect from a piece of shit fryer? Of course they're gonna hide their identities behind dumb shit. You know, they're gonna say, but I wish they would actually, you know, they weren't such fucking cowards. You know, and that's how you know they're wrong. You know, I've never hidden who I am because I know I'm telling the truth. Everything I'm doing is righteous. On the other side, you have these pedos who are proud to associate pedophilia with Israel. Because it is. I mean, it's like, I don't know what else you need to see. I don't know what else, how much more proof someone can provide you than what I already do. But, you know, we need to figure out a way how we can kill these people. Do you understand that? We need to kill these people. We need to find out who they are and out them and kill them. They're hurting children. They're the reason why child exploitation material exists, because they buy it. This is just the worst of the worst. They produce it and they buy it. And there is no arguing against anything I'm saying, because, you know, everything I'm saying is righteous, is true. Why do you think they put in so much energy trying to get me to change the subject, trying to get me to quit? These guys these aren't like random people just stumbled across my feed every single day. 5 minutes after I go live, they're here crying. Not even 5 minutes. This isn't random. This is act.il. This is the Rise app working like it's supposed to work. And it's all well documented on shit like Wikipedia, where, you know, if you ever try to expose something from Wikipedia, the people would be like, that's not a good enough source. But when it comes to this kind of official stuff, like, this is the official account. Wikipedia isn't some conspiracy site trying to bust the official shit. Wikipedia is what Israel uses to soften the blow. Israel absolutely, completely controls Wikipedia. It's admitted, it's acknowledged. No, it's not even a question. Super readers working together, power to read. In the books we fly, find a super story answer with super why.
We can do the impossible. We do it every day. The things once thought of.
Oh, what's the topic today? The topic for today is what it always is. How can we Goyim unify to overthrow these piece of shit, pedophile, genocidal friars? It's all it's ever gonna be, man. Even if I'm talking about something else, because I saw a video or whatever. The main point of the video, the feed, is how can we end friarism? How do we end that cult altogether? That's the goal. What's up, Snook? How do we end this bullshit? There's no beating around the bush. There's no mincing of words here. No, we need to end the pedophile cult. Immediately. They are the worst fucking people in the world. Thanks for the subscription. If you're a friar or a pedophile, go fuck yourself. Just live your life, bro. What the government? Again, who's gonna come on here and tell me to stop doing what I'm doing? Why would it matter? You're literally not living your life by telling me what I should be doing. You should take your own advice. But to think that, I'm not being genocided by Israel out in the open. My family isn't being violated by the friars necessarily, so I shouldn't care about it. Like, that's the difference between me and a lot of you. Is a lot of you are pieces of shit, right? A lot of you think that if it doesn't happen to you, then what do you care? And that's just unreal. You know, that's literally why it can happen. That's why the church continues to rape children. You know, if the church goers decided, hey, we don't want pedophiles in our church anymore, there wouldn't be pedophiles in the church anymore. But because so many people go, well, it's not happening to me. What was that kid wearing? Were they dressed all sexy? You know? Kid has to take some of the responsibility in this. Oh, look, pedophile junkies here, showing just how stupid you guys are. And so, yeah, I'm not American, but my country is fucked already. Yeah, but you can fix it. You can fix it. Right? Like, it's strange that everybody has just accepted the idea that things are the way they are and there's nothing that can be done about them. That's just not how, like, if you're an American, that's not how America works. America is the whole thing about America is like, you know, you don't like it, so you change it. That's, or Canada, whatever. I don't know the Canada history, but, oh, come on, dumb fuck. You sure all the cars have gone? There's still a couple, you sure? You sure? Live like my 1%, brothers. Fuck all governments. Yeah, I don't know any groups that I think are the real thing and need to be like, you know, I've heard of 1%ers, but I can't say that I know enough about them to be like, yeah, they're good to go. Let's see, he's being, yeah, look at this shit. Look at how obviously my efforts in exposing the pedophilia in Judaism have upset them so bad and work. Like it's working. If it didn't work, they wouldn't try to emulate it. But the fact that they're trying to emulate it and again, call the guy who's literally spent his entire fucking adult life trying to, you know, giving up everything so that he can say we should kill pedos. Yeah, that's the bad guy here, right? Like, obviously my efforts are not in vain. If what I was doing and saying didn't have any effect on anything, they wouldn't be doing this. But clearly, I'm driving them fucking crazy, man.
I am an 11-ton butterfly. I'm gonna die. I am an 11-ton butterfly.
Oh. You're right. I know it ain't. I'm a kid. What the fuck are you even talking about? You guys are sick. It's sick shit, man. There's no beating around the bush with any of this. Kill them. Kill them all. Fucking kill them. Like, I've been championing for years now a program where, like, we as Americans, as humans, acknowledge the fact that we live amongst sickos. There are fucking sick people out here. There are dangerous people out here. There are people that absolutely enjoy hurting other people, raping other people. And instead of pretending like, you know, if we just don't think about it or whatever, that it just goes away, that clearly isn't working. So instead of continuing the ruse where, you know, well, yeah, we don't, I don't care about those people until it affects me, I think we should hire those people. We should say, look, if you have those tendencies inside you, if you have the ability to hurt someone else, to rape someone else, someone can scream no, and you still maintain a hard-on, then let's not. Why don't we give people? Why don't we give them people? Why don't we say, okay, look, if you're one of those people, you sign up to the program, and whenever one of these friar pieces of shit rapes another child, we send them to you. We send them to you. You get to do whatever the fuck you want with them. No questions asked. And that's it. I mean, there is no, more to it. When it comes to body disposal, if you need it, we'll help you with that. But, that way we can feed more than one bird with one stone, or with one seed. You have to acknowledge these people exist. Right? You can't just be like, oh, that's sick, so I don't like thinking about it, or I don't like talking about it. Well, that's why it works. But there's the lack of consequences, real consequences. You know how many people get busted by DAP or any of these groups, and it turns out that they're on the registry already? They've already been caught. The registry doesn't do shit. I've been in my house for many years, and I've never had somebody come knock on my door and be like, because of Megan's law, blah, 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 blah. Never. Not fucking one time. Wow, that's cool. I mean, look at this shit. How many people in the comment section are like, nah, I'm gonna say something stupid, blah, blah. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. You guys don't think that the pedophile problem is as bad as it really is, but it is. These pedophiles are fucking everywhere. Everywhere. Up and down your streets. All these neighborhoods you drive around and you see all these houses. There's a really good chance that there's a pedophile in every third, every fourth house on this street. On every street. People just don't understand that. Your family, your friends, your neighbors, teachers at your schools, government officials, obviously. These pedophiles are fucking everywhere. There's no way something can be, one of the number one dark web fucking industries if it's a small fringe of people doing it. It has to be a much, much worse, bigger situation than people realize. I mean, it really, your arrogance, it always comes down to the arrogance, right? I mean, you're a Christian because of arrogance. You're a fucking moron Christian because of your stupid arrogance. You don't have any real reason why you're a Christian. You can't be like, no, I'm a Christian because it makes sense. No. That's the last thing anybody's ever gonna say. I'm a Christian because it makes sense. Here, let me explain how. That's something you'll never hear a Christian say. They can't. It's all Jewish fairy tale bullshit, and if they look too hard, they'll see it. So they just don't look very hard. It doesn't take a fucking genius. It doesn't take a super internet detective. It doesn't take anything like that to figure all this shit out. I did it. If I did it, it doesn't take that much. It's tradition. Tradition. How many times have you seen Fiddler on the Roof?
Maybe 3 times. I used to play the song on the piano, so I know the.
I want to watch it through Goyim eyes. You know, having seen, I've probably seen it when I was a kid. I don't really remember. I don't remember seeing it,
Oh yeah, no,
but I know.
under 15.
Right. So it'd be interesting to watch it now. Algo said he tried watching it the other day, and it was just so,
Slow and dumb.
not just slow and dumb, but blatantly obvious and insulting. It's insulting.
Well, see, you have to remember, those that grew up in an ethnic family, like, voter family, whenever we'd see something like that about another group, we looked at it with a sense of understanding, not of their traditions, their culture, but of knowing what it's like to have your rich culture and carry your traditions from generations. You know what I mean? So when I saw something like that, I saw it different than something like this that you have like one culture that your family identifies with. Come to and culture it, you know what I mean? So I would just look at it like, oh, well, that's
As you're
they're
supposed
Jews.
to.
They
Yeah.
have pride in their tradition and their ethnicity.
As you're
because
supposed to.
Asian things, it's ethnicity. So it's interesting because you would have definitely seen it differently than I did. I appreciated them for their culture, not knowing anything about it. They were like, oh, that's different. Those are foreigners. Those, you know what I mean?
That's how I would have seen
I
it.
mean, subconsciously as a kid, that
Okay.
type of different perspective is my point.
Sure. No, you see it how you're supposed to see it. And all of you with your cultural bullshit is, it's part of it's how the control works. You're supposed to give a shit about something you had nothing to do with. My wife is Greek. But if you ask her brother, they're not. They're Romanian and Greek. But my wife was like, fuck you, I'm not Romanian. Fuck that. I'm fucking Greek. Greek.
Went through the whole family tree. He didn't.
Okay. See, again, you get mad about stupid shit that does. It doesn't matter. I know the feeling.
Yeah, so do I.
It's a crazy thing how people, you'll believe what you want to believe. That's how we all are. It doesn't matter what it is.
Anthony's logic is, well, our dad was technically born in Romania. So what? From Greek parents that had moved there.
Okay, but then you
Two
go,
Chinese parents come to America and have
an American kid.
He's Chinese.
He's American.
Really?
Yes.
Bullshit.
He's
He
American.
might have a citizenship there.
No, he's American. We are Americans. That's how that works. Yes. The rest of this shit is addition. But again, you don't know what it was. You don't know what the Greek thing is. You only know to a point. And then it's all fantasy. And then there's the cover-up. What was there before that? What was it before it was Greek? To say that it's because your parents were from this place, that makes them Greek. But if they move somewhere else and now this line becomes from there, they're not that. It's you see how we do it? It's really crazy.
If I move to China,
he called me 40. Oh my God.
If I move to China,
It
I'm
was
not
so
gonna be
sweet.
Chinese. I'm just not gonna be. I'm living in China. I'm
Sure.
a Greek American living in China. I'm not Chinese.
You're not a
Nor will my
Greek
kids
American. You're an American. Again, you add these identifiers because that's what you're told to do. That shit didn't exist. That shit was a creation, at least according to the narrative. If you believe the narrative, because a lot of people will believe the narrative when it works for them, but then when it contradicts their shit, they're like, man, I've got conspiracy. But the narrative will tell you that people in the 1700s and 1600s weren't all like, I'm Greek and I'm proud. We didn't think about shit like that. We never even talked about that kind of shit. Nationalism and that control scheme that is nationalism to turn us against each other, that's a friar creation in the 1800s, just like everything else. All are Sumerian. I mean, I don't buy any of the bullshit. As soon as we get to they say the Pentagon was built in 1941 from September 11th. Yes, 60-year anniversary. September 11th, 1941 to January 26th or 22nd or something like that, 1943. Roughly 15, 16 months, including planning, to build the Pentagon. To me, that's so obviously not true. It's such obvious, just buffoonery, fakery, bullshittery. I can't imagine why anybody falls for that. Because you know better. If you were just sat down and there was nobody else there and it was like, okay, here's the information. Does this make sense? You would say, fuck no, that doesn't make sense. We didn't find it already built in the 1800s. Nope. The Pentagon was supposedly built in 1940. It took 16 months to dig the two basements. It's got 7 floors, two below ground, 5 above ground. Just think about this. If it has 2 basements, that means they had to pour the first basement, and then it had to dry before you could pour the second basement. You're talking about walls that are, feet thick with steel in between them and supposedly kind of shit, right? And 15,000 workers working day and night. Nobody talks about where did those workers stay? What did they eat? Where are all the records of the food that had to be brought in to feed those 15,000 workers a day? Or at any given time. But to assume that they were able to build the entire Pentagon in 16 months, yet to repair the small section that was hit on 9/11 took them over a year to do it, over 12 months to do it. Or maybe it was just right around 12 months, whatever. That was a small section. That's not 5 floors up, however many different rings it is. How many, the bottom, the sub basement, and then the basement, and who knows what other basements are below that shit. This one? That's awesome. I love hearing which songs people dig. That was the whistle that came out. How many times was that original building modified? Twice that I know of. I don't know. Most of the time, I don't think they modify shit. I don't think they can modify it. Like, I would love to see how noticeably different the repaired section is from the 9/11 shit. I deny all history. You probably should. If the Pentagon doesn't make you question things, then, you know, you're in a different boat than I am. You know, if you look around and you just start asking questions about the sewer systems, the subway systems, the gas lighting systems, you know, the gas lines that were all ran underground, and it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
I mean, they're lying to us in real time. Why wouldn't they lie to us about that?
Exactly.
For that, like this, for example, did you hear about the one?
Did you hear about the one where the guy?
The one ship that we sunk? Did you hear?
With the torpedo?
People, I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. Top of the line. I said, why didn't we just capture the ship? We're going to use it. Why did we sink them? He said, it's more fun to sink them. And he said, that's they like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably true. That was a training Navy training ship, which was invited by the Indian Navy to take part in an exercise. And they went there as their guests, the Indians guests, and they, did participate in that exercise, and they were in their way back home, and the ship was unarmed. So attacking an unarmed ship full of, training officers and sailors is, a war crime, I have to say. It's a moral abomination, and yes, it's tactically stupid. They bombed a submarine and just let the sailors drown to death.
I mean, again.
We were told that it was a drug running ship.
Did you see this? Listen. By 1 minute and 5 seconds into the video, what's he say? Well, even the Nazis. It's all about keeping the fucking the narrative going.
I mean, I think.
Why would the not you
using that as
exactly? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to say that though. I mean, you're supposed to feel that way. There are so many other examples of things that could be used, but yet they keep hearkening back to the Nazis. They keep trying because they're trying to milk that narrative. The Nazi, the camp survivors and all that, they're dead. They don't have that same fucking narrative that they've always had to fall back on. And so they're desperately trying to do anything they can to hearken back to that shit. Oh, these ICE agents are acting like Nazi soldiers. No, they're not. This isn't anything like what we're told Nazi Germany was.
No, this is far worse.
Oh yeah, far, 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 far worse.
I don't need any comparison to realize how absolutely awful this is.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't need that comparison. So why do they keep bringing it up?
Because I think the average people, they're stupid. They don't have empathy. They can't think about it like that.
Of course they can. You're not special. You want to think you're special, but you're not special. None of us are special. We all see this shit. We like one of the things that is constantly said is like, oh, well, I see it, but I don't think other people are going to see it. Or
That's the truth. Why would we have so many MAGAs that don't see it?
They do see it. They just don't care. What you have to understand is that there are fucking assholes out there. They see the shit. You just want to believe that your average Goyim is better than they are, and they're not. You know? The big issue is they've done this really great job of sort of making it seem like it's us versus them, sort of. But we have been infiltrated everywhere. I promise you, if you go up and down your street asking people, hey, can I look at your phone? Can I look at your computer? I don't want to see your financials. I just want to see your shit. They're not going to let you. Because they have shit on their phones they don't want you to see. I actually had it happen to me the other day.
It's not because I have anything on my phone. It's because my privacy. Fuck you. I have nothing on my phone, literally.
Right. You're foolish in thinking that your privacy is something that like nothing can be used against you. unless you allow it to be used against you, nothing can be used against you. You just don't get that. You think like, oh, if somebody were to look in your phone and your privacy, what do you think? What, they're gonna see how you think about certain shit and whatever. You know, like we have these neighbors that always get mad if they hear that we said something that they didn't like. And it's like, yeah, because I bet all you ever do is say good stuff about us. No. But most people don't want you looking at their shit because there's more to it. There's more to it. That's why they have their phones have passwords and all that shit. Like, think about how arrogant you have to be to believe you matter. Oh, I gotta have a password on my phone so people don't find all my secret fucking information. What the fuck do you have on your phone that's so goddamn secret? Maybe you have some naked pictures of yourself. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's so stupid. But I think it's because most people have shit they don't want people to know. And like I said, I had this happen to me the other day. My kid grabbed my phone and looked up my search history because we were doing math. And I had looked up something that I didn't understand. And when it was like a hearkening back to that thing, he went, oh yeah, here, let's look this back up. And he grabbed my phone. And I didn't even think about it because I didn't think, I've never even done this myself, but he pulled up the search history and he was like, what's that one, Dad? Because it said porn. Because, I've been married for fucking 20 years, so I might watch porn every once in a while. But it's like, that's what you're worried about happening, but you're worried about it happening. Like, I just sort of laughed about it. I was like, that's not what you think it is. He was like, all right, Dad, whatever. My mama said I was special. If you're watching, like, share, sub, help out. And they're censoring me for a reason. But I think, at the end of the day, it just comes down to, to honesty. And as soon as we start truly being honest about everything, shit's going to fall apart. You get rid of religion, you get rid of a lot of the shit that makes people weird. Right? Like, if people just know it's like, it's okay that you're different. It's okay that you like, somebody to pour a can of peas on your chest while you fucking, whatever kind of weird shit you like. It's fine. As long as you're not going against somebody's will or you're fucking with a child, who gives a shit what you do? As long as you're not hurting somebody against their will, has to be against their will, because there are people that like to be hurt. Like, share, sub, I mean, it's just, we have to start being more honest with ourselves. If your belief structure can't stand up to some scrutiny, if you can't handle being questioned about your thing, maybe it's not a good thing. Right? Like, if your whole religious perspective falls apart because someone like me says some words you don't like, that's a bigger issue than you're willing to look at. And because we're not honestly looking at all that shit and honestly dealing with it, and instead we're so distracted by bread and circus, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. Just how they want it to. You know, if I ask you why you support Trump and you don't have a good reason, which you won't, then you should be understandable that I assume you're a racist, sexist, homophobic pedophile. If you're not giving me good reasons otherwise, well, what does he represent? Racism, sexism, homophobia, and pedophilia. If I was wrong, you tell me. People are pretty vocal about shit, especially when they think something's wrong. Like, people are always quick to complain about shit. People are always quick to talk about what they don't like. But, you know, we're just, it's all just one big manipulation. One big manipulation. Keeping you distracted so you don't do what I do. You know, anyone with common sense, like this is just common sense. If you look at my feeds and you look at the fact that you see a bunch of shit you don't see anywhere else. You see people that make fake profiles so they can that'll have like a version of my name or just something, so they can come here to talk shit about the guy who thinks we should kill pedos and overthrow the Jews. From a common sense perspective, who the fuck do you think that is? Do you really think black people are just so mad at me for saying these things? You think your average Christian is mad at me for this? Shit, your average Christian's happy I've graduated to Judaism and I no longer constantly point out the fact that your Christian cult rapes children fucking consistently. Smoke and mirrors, but the question is, who makes the mirrors and who produces the smoke? They do. There's no question. I mean, again, like, what part are you still questioning? Seriously. Common sense. Look at the world we live in right now. There's only one country out there that is openly committing genocide, and you're not even supposed to talk about it. Like, that doesn't exist for anybody else. You know, where if you say, hey, those people, the victims of this one group, they deserve the life. They deserve respect. They deserve to not have genocide happen to them. You get attacked. When you look at your Bible doesn't fucking hide it. It's a Jewish fairy tale. It's a Jewish fairy tale. Jesus, the main guy, was a Jewish preacher from the Davidic line. Like, there's no confusion there. Belch. No, I know what you were saying, but I mean, it's obvious. And we need to stop speaking in like hypotheticals and, you know, with this sort of caution. You know, that pre-programmed well, you can't say it's the whole group. Why the fuck not? Why am I not allowed to hate this one group? I've never seen another situation where somebody was like, man, I hate this belief structure. And people were like, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. That's not okay. You're a bad guy if you say that. Everything else that's not them is encouraged. Average American, average white, black, doesn't matter. American walks around talking about, I hate Islam. Islam is bad. Islam bad. Iran bad. And nobody bats an eye at that, right? But as soon as you go, hey, you know, Like, these guys suck on bloody baby dicks. And it happens all, like, most people won't deny it, right? My wife doesn't deny it. The response is, well, I don't think it's happening as much as you think it is. What? What the fuck are you talking about? How many times do you think I think it's happening? How many times is too much? If it's happening once, isn't once too much? Like, we end up making the excuses for these pieces of shit without even, like, thinking about that we're doing it. Again, they've used the herpes thing as their defense for years. Well, I mean, you can't, you're complaining about it, but only 11 babies have gotten herpes from the moils, and only like 2 or 3 have died. And you go, I didn't even mention herpes. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, no, the bad part. It's fucking insane. The world is more simple and straightforward, boring than you think. Everyone wants to go to work and be in their family, die. Yeah, the conspiracy is much more simple than people think. You've been taught to think of devils and angels and Armageddons and aliens from other worlds and secret devil worshipping cults that do the seances, and they stand in front of the owls and they woo, woo. You know, Alex Jones, he snuck in and he filmed it. You could see from really far away, sort of an effigy of some sort. It was fire and people were screaming. Fuck yeah, that's crazy. Right? All right, the world is too complex. But the conspiracy is much more simple than people think. Right? When you say, you know, when you believe alien attacks and just all of it, Jesus, God, all of these crazy conspiracies that people believe. When the reality is, there's a very, very physically and mentally inferior group of people that inherited the control. And their entire existence is about maintaining that position, that control, that life that they get for free. That's it. That's it. A lot of them are really, really fucked up. You know, a lot of them are really, really fucked up. Especially since the measures that were put in place to keep their people in control too. You can't just control the sheep. You have to control the fucking dogs keeping the sheep in line. I mean, this is fucking insane, guys. This is just insane. My wife sits on her phone all day, and every 10 minutes, she goes, oh my God. Because something else. They've tricked us into killing each other, into hating each other, into acting like we live in this really small space and there's not enough for everyone. And it's all about tea, of course. It's all about, you know, maintaining the position. What up until the internet, because the internet was really their downfall. Up until the internet, they completely controlled the narrative. Every single thing that you think, that you believe, that you engage in, that you know, it was manufactured. Your grandparents that you revere so much that I mean, I don't know how many of you have grandparents off the boat, but to just think about that narrative is fucking crazy. I know when it comes to my grandparents off the boat narrative, it sure gets into the orphan train kind of repopulation shit pretty quickly. You know, my grandmother was apparently sold. Not sure how that worked. Not sure to who. We never actually got any of those details. Close the borders. Yeah, that's the secret. Close the prison doors, he says. You know, because this is our country. Like, closing the borders means you think the bad guys are your fellow Goyim. Because the people in charge, they're not restricted by borders. Yes, I only just now found out about the Jews. Yep, that's what it is. How come damn near anybody that does talk about, everybody that talks about the Jews talks about it from a Christian perspective? How come nobody that's smart enough to see and question the Jewish narrative kept going when it came to Christianity? How come they all stop when it's like, oh, you know that they created Christianity too as a control scheme to keep you stupid and dumb and awaiting a savior to come fix the problems for you? No, that part's real, seriously. Like, you're dumb. I don't understand it. Absurd nonsense, yup. Says Adel Mosa. Says something, some piece of shit with a friar identity. Go figure. An inbred friar is going to come in here and say something stupid. Does anybody actually fucking... Are you surprised by it anymore? These are the people that fucking rape children. They rape their own children. Like, I know it, you know. It's like, what's worse than a pedophile? Somebody that's been abused and does it to somebody knowing the damage it causes. But also somebody that does it to their own. I mean, you know, how do you really decipher between the difference between, you know, you're fucking with a 3-year and 1-day-old child that's somebody else's or it's yours? But I mean, like, when it comes to the kids in the neighborhood and shit, I'll help them out. If I saw them struggling, I saw them crying or something, I'd help. But I'm not going to go out of my way for any of the other kids. I don't give a shit about the other kids nearly as much as I give a shit about my kids. So to think like you could hurt, like, the reason I stopped spanking my children, I never was big on it. I never really did it, you know, smacked their butt once or twice, but that's about it with my hand. That was when they were small, but at some point it just dawned on me, like, this isn't doing anything. This is worse. This is, you know, this is the opposite of what I'm trying to do. And at some point I'm going to have to talk to them. So why don't I just talk to them? And thankfully neither one of them actually remember being spanked. So that's a good thing. But it was like, I'm going to hurt my own children who look at me like I'm everything. Like, do you not remember what it's like to look at your parents and just revere them before you figured out that they were just some dumbass? You know, when you were like 7, 8 years old and you thought the parents were, don't care. You thought the parents were, you believed your mom knew everything. Moms know everything. You thought there was, maybe was a possibility that your mom had eyes in the back of her head. You being that person to them, you're going to hurt them. You're going to violate them. That's just beyond comprehension to me. And then to be like, well, I do it because it's not because of my own personal predilections. It's not because I enjoy what I'm doing. It's because the book, the cult that I belong to, says I have to do this. Because, we're such awful people that every fucking holiday we have is about redemption. Every fucking one. They need to do something because they're so full of sins, they need to be redeemed. If you're watching, like, share, sub, help out. Do what you need to do. Even though the more likes I get, the less views I get. Let's still show them what's up. 11 likes, or 11 viewers, 15 likes, 2,500 plus subscribers. Nothing to see here. It's crazy. They had to, though. Because not only was I getting views, I was getting lots of subs. Out of the 30,000 views I'm getting to 8,000 views I'm getting, 70, 100 subs. That's the most dangerous part. It's one thing for people to stumble across my shit. It's another thing for them to want to see it. And they just, they're preventing, like, there are people that are looking for my feed right now and can't find it. Are your watch hours enough for monetization? Yes. Of course they are. Of course they are. No, I'm not allowed monetization. It's just not a thing. They're not going to pay me. And I mean, if you look at what happened to my feed, it's undeniable. Nobody is dumb enough to say, yeah, you were averaging a few thousand views per feed. You could get as high as many as 40,000 views on a feed, but you'd average between like 5 and 10,000 per feed. And then the day after Charlie got kirked, you'd be lucky to get 100. That's not how shit works. Yeah. Back when I had 1,000 subscribers, I could get 20,000 views. But now that I have more than double, nope, not allowed. And the thing is, when it came to Charlie, just the whole aesthetic of the thing should have led to my feed getting more views. But especially when you consider that I had been talking about Charlie quite a bit in the days leading up to it. And I had predicted that somebody was going to get shot. I said that there was going to be a unification shooting. I don't know what that video was, but I bet you that you guys do. The people that timestamp all my videos and all that shit, they remember me saying it. I might have even said it was going to be Charlie. I don't remember. But I do know I specifically said maybe a week before Charlie got kirked that there was going to be a big sort of unification shooting. And lo and behold, I've predicted several of these things. Not because I'm some fucking psychic. Not because I'm like better than anybody else that, I got powers or anything like that.
You do have powers.
It's literally because it's just obvious. When I start predicting things, it's because, I'm not trying to be wrong. I'm not trying to risk it. When I predicted October 7th, months in advance, and not just October 7th, but the subsequent genocide. I told you this shit was going to happen. I told you guys that if there wasn't the false flag that led to the genocide, that I would, by December of 2023, that I would stop doing videos, I'd quit all this shit. And I was saying that in like June, May. I was predicting it. Not because I had some dream. Jesus appeared to me in a dream, so go sell all your shit. Because there was so much leading up to it that it laid it out for you. Israel buying 42,000 slaves from India. 38,000 earmarked for construction. The other 4 for elderly care. It was so obvious. And then you look at the visa waiver program. If you look at the especially the fake protest bullshit, and then all of them as a form of protest, signing pledges to, if there happened to be some sort of conflict that arose, nothing like that's happened in decades. But if something does happen where suddenly Israeli citizens might be called up to fight, they're not going to. It was almost like the entire country predicted October 7th. And instead of being considered deserters, deserting their position, it's a crime. Desertion is a crime. They were championed as heroes, freedom fighters. But it was all right there. It was just right in front of you. Yep, I did it. I killed Charlie. Yes, I sure did. Because of his red blah blah blah. He was a fucking clown. Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Israel made Charlie Kirk, and Israel killed him. They made him to kill him. People will say I'm cynical. My wife says that all the time. You're just too cynical. Why would you think anything otherwise? What makes more sense? That ugly, weird little twerp just sort of happened to be so good at what he did that Israel took notice and started funneling money into all of his shit. And then just before he got kirked, he started talking bad about Israel. But they didn't notice. And then as soon as it was done, as soon as it happened, Israel puts out the angel video that gets taken down because of how tasteless it was, and Erica Kirk and all this other shit that's happened. Because that's just the natural order of things. That's just how that progresses. Or it was a work from the beginning. That's why they funneled so much money into him from the beginning, was to kill him one day. They're not going to take out Ben Shapiro. They're not going to take out one of their own. So take out Charlie. The fuck, who gives a fuck? His Jewish wife, she'll get all the benefit. Where the fuck are their kids? Don't they have 2 kids? Oh, look, the pedophile is saying blah, blah, blah. Oh, what a surprise. Can't actually debunk anything being said, though, right? As always, your arrogance makes you need to say something, but your stupidity means you prove my point. It's beautiful. If there's anybody in here still questioning things, look at the comments, man. How many of you think making pizza jokes and pedophile jokes is funny? How many of you do that in your life? How many of you pretend to send pizza stuff because, man, it's just so funny? Can any of you actually say you do that? Like, in real life? Does any? No. You got me one. That's good. At least I can affect you in some way. Think about this shit, guys. Again, who is going to be so upset and offended and dedicated based on what I've said? Who's gonna get this upset with me that they're gonna basically live for me? Does it even make sense? Like it's just you guys can't get your head around it. Like I don't know. To me, it all just seems so obvious. Just trying to find my spot here. We'll go there.
Not sorry to burst your bubble, but the black boat doesn't matter. And truthishly, I'm hopeful that if we finally shatter the illusion and the banter, then the promised change will come. But until then...
What the fuck? Yes. Well, I wish I wasn't right, man. I hate this shit. I hate that it has to be this way. I wish that we were better and that people weren't such pieces of shit. But like I believe at this point I can pretty much prove, the narrative from origin, or at least evidential evidence from the past leading up to and into today, that just, it's right here in front of you. I can get Grok to say that the Jews are a pedophile cult. That goes against what it's supposed to say, but it's also a thing that's based on like mathematical formula. If you plug the right formula in, it's going to spit out. If you ask it 2 + 2, it's going to tell you it's 4. But this act.il thing, this is such an important piece. This explains the interference. And the interference explains, there's a reason for the interference. Like, they're not going to put this kind of effort and energy into me unless I'm doing something that they don't like. But Act.il is a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online quote anti-Israel content such as the BDS movement, boycott, divestment, sensations. Now this is the evidence. A lot of people, where's your evidence? You don't say anything. This is Wikipedia. This page is completely locked, so there is no anyone can edit Wikipedia. Nope. This is edited from the top down, from Israel. It's this is balanced and Zionist in nature, right? That's the point. 3 watchers, 16 likes, 2,500 subscribers, because that's what makes sense. And let's where the hell has Mary been? Have you heard from Mary? Chubby gal? Hello?
Huh? Okay.
Have you heard from Mary?
No.
I don't know. I haven't seen or heard from her in a while. Send Karen the sharing is we're up against such a well-oiled machine. We have to be just as well-oiled as they are, and they keep us from doing that pretty simply. Honestly, it seems like they do it with very little effort. The average person is so quick to hate their fellow Goyim brother and sister, and a lot of times it's like all the gay hatred stuff. I just kept away from the children. It's like, well, the day that you have this same sort of piss and vinegar venom for the child beauty pageants that exist, or for Pee-wee football, right? Then they might have something to say. But the reality is, it just doesn't work that way. Gross. Yuck.
Now I'm done. Since this time I want to run with the notion we've been duped by the group that thinks it's fun to sell us primordial soup is how we fell into the loop. But also, there's a Jesus. They serve us both their scoops and the
I ask you guys every time, all you Christians, like, why do you believe in Jesus? Do you ever ask yourself that question? Do you ever answer that question? Seems like it shouldn't be a hard question to ask somebody. And I don't mean like the cheesy answer. I mean, like, compared to all of the other the Abrahamic stuff, all the different versions of Christianity that exist, but you believe you're a Pentecostal or whatever you might want to be. What makes you think that one's right? Have you ever bothered to think about that shit? No, it's so strange that people are, it really points to the NPC thing, right? The NPC thing is so, like, you ask somebody, like, why do you think this way? And they basically say, because that's what my programming told me to do. That's eye-opening. Directive 2005 36 EC. The fuck is this? Why did this come up? This is weird. I always think it's strange that it's so difficult to find. Like, people always talk about how easy it is, how dangerous the internet is. Right? If you go online, people will come after you. People will, if you ever want an argument, people are always down to argue. Like, it's strange to me that it's so difficult to find Christians who proudly believe in what they believe and who are willing to have a discussion about it. That's just the strangest shit to me. Why do you believe in anything that you don't understand your belief? Doesn't that seem dangerous? Isn't that embarrassing to you? If I ask you why did you wear that outfit today? And you were like, because my mom told me to. I'm like, do you like the outfit? Oh, I guess, yeah. But, I have it on. Like, is this an outfit that you would wear if you had the choice? Oh, no, I never gave it any thought. My mom told me to. She picks out my clothes, lays them out. I know which ones I'm supposed to wear every day. That's literally the basis behind most people's religious beliefs. Oh, here we go. These are my favorite. I was an atheist until Jesus found me in my doubt and disbelief and saved me anyway. Talk about fucking arrogant. Like if you say I used to be an atheist, you weren't. You weren't. You were somebody who, cried about some shit or whatever. But to go from not believing in God to believing in the Jewish fairy tale version of things is such a tremendous leap. There needs to be something significant there. Right? But he's not going to even begin to engage. Like you had the opportunity to say it and you chose to say as vaguely as you possibly could, Jesus found me in my doubt and disbelief and saved me anyway. What the fuck does that even mean? I love when people are arrogant enough to say shit like that because it's like, okay, so Jesus was busy finding you. Is that why when the child was being raped by the clergy and was crying out for help, nobody came? Because Jesus was busy trying to save you from your doubt and disbelief? The arrogance it takes to say shit like that is just, it's so far beyond me. And I'm supposed to be the arrogant one, right? Huh? Who does? Why? I didn't know that. Sweet. I didn't look in the fridge to see his lunch. It's fucking crazy, man. You say such awful things and you just don't realize you say it. Yeah, you know all those Christians in Palestine? All the children that are starving to death until a bomb falls on top of, falls the building on top of them, but they remain alive, buried underneath the rubble, and slowly die for a couple days. And they're crying out to Jesus, please help me. Yeah, Jesus was busy finding you in your doubt and disbelief. I mean, notice how they say these things. It's like a drive-by fucking, a drive-by religious stoning or some shit, right? I'm going to say something and then I'm going to bail real quick so I don't have to be responsible or accountable for what I said.
Hey, Pacey, will you hand me my coffee? I need to make that.
Pacey did bang the older broad. Fucking Dawson. I don't want your life.
Doesn't taste as bad if I mix it with some actual vinegar.
Yeah, sure, whatever. How come God never encourages a religious person, blesses, endows a religious person with the ability to engage in one of these conversations successfully and empowers somebody to come here and say anything that even begins to make sense? It's so fucking crazy to think about it. When you know what it is to think that other people fall for it, it's just so strange. We're talking about a Jewish fairy tale. A Jewish fairy tale designed to season people, to plant that seed that when the time comes and we go from, there's the Goyim have established whatever they have, that all it takes is the Jew to say, hey, divine blah blah, God told me this, that, take from you and give to me. And that's the religious order of things. No wonder it then, nowadays, the people that have read that their whole lives and been brainwashed by that bullshit their whole lives, when you now have Trump, just funneling money into Israel so they can commit genocide against Christians, you just go, yeah, okay, take from us and give to the Jews. Yep, steal from the taxpayers. Yeah, that's how that works. Belch.
I have a candle lit for Theo's birthday.
Look, another one of these fake fucking Israeli profiles comes in and says the same shit as the other one. Do you guys not understand what you're dealing with here? Again, Act.il is a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online, quote, anti-Israel content such as BDS. Its activities were referred to as an, quote, online propaganda campaign and, quote, a virtual situation room for pro-Israel experts. This is where it gets real juicy, though. Act.il directed. These people aren't just stumbling across my feed. They're being assigned. they're being directed to my feed. It's users to missions, quote missions, to like, comment on, and share pro-Israel material on social media. It also asks users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel. Users were guided how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points. That's why they all say the same dumb shit. It's impossible that so many people would come in and just say the same random shit. Like, these are random dumb things. You're talking about we should kill pedophiles and overthrow Jews. Blah 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 blah. This is what they do. You're delusional. You're schizophrenic. You're projecting. They all of these programmed responses.
I'm screaming, yay, there's a song about you. Hooray, but you're still a clown shoe. Yay, there's a song about you. Hooray, but you're still a clown shoe. Yay, there's a song about you. Hooray, but you're still a clown shoe. Yay, now there's a song about you. Hooray, too bad you're still a clown shoe.
Beautiful, beautiful. And this whole, you'll never see any of them actually try to make any reasonable, like Israel's good because of this, the Jews are good because of this. They'll never do that because that's not what they're programmed to do. The idea that if you question them, if you don't agree with their supremacy, you have mental issues, goes all the way back to the founding documents of what is considered to be the founding document of modern Jewish nationalism, and especially Zionism. It's called the Auto-Emancipation Pamphlet. It was anonymously written in 1882 by in German by a Polish, Russian, Jewish doctor, but he was only a doctor because Jews weren't allowed to practice law. He had gotten his law degree, but they wasn't allowed to use it, so he decided to become a doctor instead. And he was the first one to call for friar national consciousness, a friar unity, that they needed their own state, their own place to live, and that if anybody disagreed with that, they had a psychosis. It was psychosis. What is it? Mental delusion and an irrational phobia. It's been part of their programming the whole time, and that's why that's the only thing you'll ever see. You'll never, ever, ever see a friar get into an argument with somebody or a debate with someone and just say interesting things that make sense. You'll never see it. You'll never see a situation where they say shit that's enlightening, or they say shit that wakes you up, that opens your eyes. Never. It'll never work out that way. Because they're shit. They know they're shit. They know they have nothing. They know their entire fairy tale is not only bullshit, but it's based in fantasy. None of it's true. It's not nearly as old as you guys think it is. You know, it's not nearly as ancient and it's none of that shit. The example, and that, unfortunately for all you dumbass Christians, that means all of your Abrahamic shit is shit. It's not real. And it's easy to prove to you, right? Because the proof is in the narrative they give. There's no questioning. There's not even a chance, a small, slim, slight, anything sort of chance that Exodus is a real viable story. Exodus is impossibly stupid.
he encourages to go.
It's not even like maybe sorta, you know, somebody could have interpreted something one way or another. No, nothing. Nothing about Exodus is even remotely true. The historians of the day don't talk about it. The Egyptian records don't mention the 2 million plus Jewish slaves that were, you know, that escaped and blah blah, all that shit. They don't mention the plagues. They don't mention the Passover shit, bullshit. You know, none of it. It's the dumbest fucking shit. It's so goddamn stupid. It's like,
Dave just doesn't go on TV because it's fun.
I don't know, you have to ask, like, did you guys purposefully make it stupid just as like a laugh or something?
Lunch is served when we're so hungry. You'll more than likely watch your tongue.
It's embarrassing. And of course, the more we talk about pedophilia and raping children and genocide and all, the more Israeli flags get flown. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. It has nothing to do with the fact that Israel doesn't exist. And the real issue is the pedophile cult that it represents, right? It has nothing to do with that.
Kanye only buried black people when he was naming names.
Truth Nation, dude. You'd think you'd have some truth to tell. You fly the pedo flag, you're acknowledging that you're a pedo. A pedo. Just that simple. Anybody that flies the pedo flag is clearly a pedo. Yep. I'm a junkie. Yeah, that's me. Let's say I'm a junkie. Let's say I smoke all the crack. I snort all the lines. I shoot all the dope. I drink all of the alcohol. I beat the shit out of my wife and my children while I'm kicking my dog. Does that take anything away from the fact that I'm talking about a pedophile cult that rapes its own children along with everybody else's? And the genocide that they commit? How does it even compare? How does anything I do in my life compare to the genocidal, pedophile nature of the flag flyers? Yep. You had 3 people here, right? About to be 2. Yep. That's weird. It jumped up to 5. And I have 21 likes. Because I'm sure all of you can tell me you've seen feeds before that have 4 watchers and 21 likes with 2,500 plus subscribers. Right? Isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting how when actually being engaged, so the pedo flag flyer was proudly flying the pedo flag until actually being engaged, and then suddenly he runs away like the coward that he is. So then we have another fake profile coming through to fly the pedo flag again. God, isn't that weird? Why don't you go now I should talk about somebody else. Why don't you go out and call it the Masonic lodges that the people you speak about are tied to? Why would I need to talk about somebody else? Aren't there plenty of people talking about Masons and shit? Aren't Freemasons a pretty popular truther narrative? Why would you want me to start talking about something everybody else is already talking about? Why would you want me to stop talking about this? How come Jews never come through and say, yeah, you know what? These practices that have been around with our people forever need to be stopped. They're horrible. You know, how come you guys never condemn it? You just want me to talk about something else. You just want to cry. You know, you want to out yourselves left and right. But you definitely don't ever condemn anything horrible. I mean, look at it. Look at this desperation. Have you ever seen anything like this? You are the one whining. Yep. I'm whining, crying, begging, screaming, pleading for people to pay attention to the fact that you people are pedophiles and that we need to do something to protect the children. Is there anything out there that is more important than protecting the children? Especially the Jewish children. Shouldn't we be protecting the Jewish children before anything else? Isn't that how the whole thing works? You would think somebody that's screaming, protect the Jewish children, would get some support from the Jewish community. But apparently not. Isn't that strange how that works? Must be me making all of this up. It has nothing to do with shit like act.il, where not only do they give them the ready-made talking points to reply with, it also gives them memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. And by completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, which is prizes, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. Isn't it interesting? They actually fixed it. So now we're back to the point where the individual parts come up instead of it all just being available at once. They did whatever update that they needed to do. According to Plus 972, Act.io was the centerpiece of a digital campaign called For IL, for Israel, announced in 2017 by Gilad Erdan, then Minister of Strategic Affairs for the promotion of Israel and the delegitimization of boycott, divestments, and sanctions, BDS. The app would assign users missions to challenge social media posts it considered to be critical of Israel or in favor of the BDS movement. Again, you can't think all of these fake Israeli profiles just stumble across my feed. They're being directed here. They're being assigned this live, this feed, this comment section. And there's probably, a pretty rewarding point structure for it. It's what this is like. Again, this is not my narrative. I knew this was going on for a long time before I knew about this page. And this page is as gold mine as it could possibly be. But, I didn't make this shit. I can't even edit this page. Erdan called it an Iron Dome of Truth. Act.io was a joint project of the private Israeli university, IDC Herzliya, and the U.S.-based Israeli-American Council. The Maccabee Task Force, one of Sheldon Adelson's foundations, is a major funder of Act.io. I am shocked. I am so shocked. The organization behind Act.io is staffed by former intelligence officers and has a collegial relationship with the Israeli intelligence community. It had a close relationship with Israel's Ministry of Strategic Affairs, which combats the BDS movement, which it views as a threat. This used to be the last paragraph here. Now there's another one, but according to Mendo Weiss, an email sent in March of 2022 to the app's users announced that the app will be shut down, but the users should continue to interact with Act.io's content on its other social media platforms. Now it ends with, the application was relaunched in early 2026 under the name Rise App, with the former Act.il owners partnering with Reichman University for the release and also transferring the former Act.io user base of 40,000 plus members to the new service. Now, when you look at this feed that has 2 watchers and 1 watcher and 21 likes with 2,500 subscribers, does it make sense now? Does it make sense? How about if I do this? How about if I read you one more thing, right? How about if I show you what Team Jorge has to say? Team Jorge is the name given to an outfit of Israeli contractors specialized in the use of malign cyber activities, including hacking, sabotage, and bot farm-run social media disinformation campaigns to manipulate the outcomes of presidential-level elections. So they can only fuck with elections. They can't just fuck with somebody's YouTube page. One of the organization's primary tools is a software package called Advanced Impact Media Solutions, or AIMS. The group was exposed in February 2023 after an award-winning undercover operation by journalists from Israel and France as part of a consortium of investigative journalists coordinated by Forbidden Stories. That consortium included journalists from France, Germany, Indonesia, Israel, Kenya, Spain, Tanzania, and the United States. The organization has been active on paper since at least 2015, before Trump lost the election by 2.7 million votes, but was put in anyway by the APAC swamp he said he was going to drain. Look at this. Look at now it's back to me being crazy. I'm just crazy. I'm crazy because I'm reading the official narrative. I'm reading the narrative that Israel wants us to know. That makes me crazy. I'm sure they're like shocked that somebody can read, because I'm sure they have such a hard time reading. They boast of having manipulated 33, gotta love that 33 reference, 33 presidential elections worldwide. Don't worry, white people, many of them were in Africa, many meaning 4 or more. And in 27 cases with successful results. 82.5% of the time, this one Israeli Black Ops organization, there are hundreds, thousands of them. This one Israeli Black Ops organization, 82% of the time, 82.5% of the time, they want to manipulate a presidential election. They have success. What's up, Matt? Welcome to the feed with 2 viewers and 22 likes. Totally makes sense, doesn't it? Their activities were revealed following a 2022 sting operation in Tel Aviv carried out by 3 undercover journalists who posed as prospective clients and filmed their interactions with Tal, T-A-L, Hanan, H-A-N-A-N, the group's leader and former Israeli Special Forces operative, in which he explained the inner workings of the organization. He said that the organization had existed for more than 2 decades and had been engaged in propaganda and disinformation activities in more than 30 countries. He also said their services have been available for about $6 million a mission to services available to government intelligence agencies, political campaigns, and private companies that wish to covertly manipulate public opinion. This sounds like some crazy shit, doesn't it? Sounds like you would have to have some sort of, some sort of access to some secret, not to get something this obvious. You would think if it's this obvious, somebody would do something about it, right? This is on Wikipedia. It's saying that they're selling a service that allows them to do this, that allows anybody to do this for the right price. You've seen Sucker Dick talk about how they've gotten rid of bot farms out of China, 1,000 bot farm profiles out of China, 800 out of the Philippines. Not one time has he talked about Israel. And Israel, one of their organization's primary tools is the software package called AIMS, Advanced Impact Media Solutions. which automates centralized control of thousands of social media profiles. The thing is, remember that list of names, the countries? All of the nerds that work at the journalistic outlets, you know, in all of those different countries, they all said that this was a technology that none of them had seen before. That it wasn't fair to call them bots. It was more accurate to call them avatars. Because the same Friars Rape Children 123 Facebook page would exist on Instagram and YouTube and all these other pages, all being operated at the same time by a computer system that can have better conversation than we think is possible. They also claimed that they could create as many as 30,000 bots at any given time. Back in 2022, this was claimed. And they could use those bots to either attack somebody or boost somebody. You know, and again, this is just one. Imagine if 10 different Israeli black ops organizations are using this technology, and they're capable of creating 30,000 bots. And in March of 2023, a guy like Ian Carroll just shows up and needs to be boosted to the moon, and almost instantly has 300,000 following. Well, if you have 10 different Team Jorge's all liking, sharing, and subbing his shit, well, there you go. That's how you create a hero out of nowhere. You allow them to say things that most people aren't allowed to say, but they don't actually say, like when it gets to the Jesus, they go, no, believe in Jesus. No, don't blame the whole cult. I have some cult member friends that are nice to my face, so you can't blame the cult. If you find out that the cult that you're in, that the group that you're in, one of its oldest traditions and very, very common tradition, and, something that you are required to defend, has to do with pedophilia, do you stay involved in that organization? It's insane how more people don't care. Get out of the drugs and psych meds and help understand how important it is to free humanity, starting with us. Well, again, they told you in South Park, the Cupid Yee episode tells you flat out, you need to take your meds. If you don't take your meds, you might notice that Kyle controls Hollywood. Kyle controls Hollywood. And as soon as you take your meds, tee-hee, love and happiness. Take your meds, Kanye. Take your meds, Cupid Yee. Take your meds. You really do need to check out that episode. If you've never seen that episode, you need to check it out. I want to make my wife watch it here in a minute. She needs to see that shit, because it's so goddamn, like, on the nose. Pun intended. I don't know. It's the Cupid Yee episode. Cupid Yee. It's a Valentine's episode. And the character, the main character is Stupid Yee. Stupid Kanye, Cupid Yee. And he's a little naked Cartman angel, because I don't know, in like season 10 they got the okay to draw naked children, so they started doing it as much as they could. It's really fucking gross. But he's a little naked miniature Cartman floating around. And the whole goal is to get him to take his meds. And at the end of the episode, Cartman grabs a hold of him and forces a blue pill into his mouth. Valium or a Loratab or something. And he suddenly, his sideways hat and his jacket disappear. It happens instantly, and he's instantly tee-hee, love and happiness, tee-hee, distraction, tee-hee.
The darkness hiding in the light. Hollywood's a Ponzi. They sell intelligence.
I love you.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna drive carefully. Oh, you're talking about the South Park. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting how many episodes of South Park do that. Yeah, right.
When truth is fun, we're where you come, but we're no one-trick pony. It's time we run fed by the drums, appearing like we're phony. Since those of you who know me grow to show no resignation when the princes we're exposing hold the globe of desperation. And while the chosen TV stations put in place and pushing program keeps the frozen education of the apes and lowly slow hands, the landscape is a no man's land kept safe from Goyim eyes. If we stand up straight, they're
Oh.
We're making the vision to live in their store. Like this is cool if Russia from their existence. Like which governs rule little continent, claiming their chosen, fueling their nonsense, the grandeur that no one situation we open without oil laws. The prison is open with poison with loss. God, that.
Booty base.
What you have in case we'll make the booty say, yeah. Not that booty base, we the base are in your face.
Yeah. Look at, so you see, like, you have one of these fryers on here, right? Let's see. The one that joined 7 months ago and has no subscribers. He's talking about what I'm doing in the video, right? Coming up with his own little fantasy explanations. Which means he's paying attention to the video. And yet, every time they get called pedophiles, every time metzitzia is pointed out, the genocide, anything like that's pointed out, he doesn't respond. He doesn't respond to directly being called a pedophile. Yet he's going to talk about some dumb shit in, like, you see what I mean? They're so stupid they don't realize that they tell on themselves. They're just... It's what inbreeding does, man. They're so inbred and fucking stupid from the years and years of segregation and all that. It's just created this arrogant, entitled stupidity that's really unique. They're so stupid, they're so arrogant that they insist on proving it every chance they get. At least the ones in like, you know, in real life are such cowards that anytime they see a camera, they do that thing where they like put their arms down and they just run. Now they look so stupid in their little penguin suits, you know. But they always run away whenever anybody tries to question them in real life. But if you look at it on here where they have that backbone of anonymity, they're just, it's embarrassing how stupid they are, right? It's embarrassing how they just, you know, it doesn't even take much to see it. You just have to, you know, look and drop any sort of preconceived notions you have. That's a big thing, because a lot of us have been trained to think that they're somehow super intelligent or some shit. Take it easy, brother. YouTube is silencing you again? It's funny. But you see what I'm saying? Like, that shit doesn't happen to them. They never cry about how they're being censored or anything like that. All of their dumb shit comes through without any sort of issue. And you see it for what it is. Look, there he goes. Directly called a pedophile and doesn't fucking say anything. There you go. Anybody wants to decide, anybody wants to sort of act like there's something else going on here, I'd love to hear it. They definitely don't try to like explain what I'm getting wrong. No, I'm here because of... You'll never hear anything like that from them. They're fucking stupid, man.
Let's finally set the record straight.
Oh, yeah, they're not tough. The only time they're tough is when the victim is a child or a girl, or there's an IDF soldier standing behind them, or, they have the anonymity of the web here. You won't do shit. But again, this guy is much more concerned with being like, hey, blah, 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 face to face. He's not going, fuck you, dude. How dare you call me a pedophile? That's disgusting. That's horrible. Blah. They don't say shit like that because they don't see it as that. To them, pedophilia is an act of God. It's what they're supposed to do. It's what they've been told to do. It's what was done to them. It's what was done to their parents. It's part of their whole fucking thing. It's how this shit works.
We just don't think it's...
The Jew, Hamas, and Ayatollah supporter. Sure, yeah. Absolutely. Like I'm not at all ashamed to say I support anyone that fights against the tyranny, that fights against these pedos. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. They're just horrible, man. It's just horrible shit. And they know it. They know how sick they are. They know how fucked up they are. There is no denying it. There's no arguing it. There's no looking away from it. It's just what it is, man.
How this switch hater tried his best to ignore me while I was simply imploring him to please explain how it is he...
Tell that to the people of Iran. Oh, okay, I'll jump right on my Iran phone and tell the people of Iran. I'll jump right on that. Dumbass. See, again, this is the kind of shit that they do because they can't defend their own thing. They just keep trying to distract onto something else, right? They never come on here and tell you how good they are. They never come on here and talk about how much better they make the world and, how much they contribute to everybody else's happiness and nothing. They can't. It's all about trying to get people to talk about something else, trying to get them to feel ashamed for pointing out these horrendous things. Like, why would anybody ever feel ashamed for pointing out what these pieces of shit do? Like, everybody should be proud. If you're smart enough, if you're good enough to call it out, you should be proud.
When I say a bitch, I don't mean a female. I mean that he fits in most of the details. Set up a reveal by the children jars. You can't just go retail without playing it. And that's where we start. Since he posted his phone number,
16 million Jews in the world, 9 million people, and we're the problem. Yeah, that's how that works. Absolutely. Any pyramid scheme, it's the majority aren't at the top of the pyramid, are they? The majority are at the bottom. The majority are suffering and are the victims of the top. Yeah, you guys are the worst. Abso-fucking-lutely. Which is interesting because, again, it's like you have to deny your own, like, achievement, right? Because what are you going to say that the Jews don't control the world? You're going to say that religion isn't, the Abrahamic religions aren't all Jewish creation? You're going to say that Jews don't control Hollywood? That Jews don't control the government? You're going to say all those things? You're really going to, not take credit for the amazing accomplishments? Funny how that works, right? The only reason you won't take credit for the accomplishments is because you know it's disgusting, horrible, diabolical shit. And you don't want to be associated with the horrible, disgusting, diabolical shit that you actually do. You don't want to be held responsible for that shit. Right? So you just do this crybaby shit, blah, blah, blah. You're going to try to tell me that the people that rape children, rape their own children, that's not a problem? Out of 16 million people, you think it's okay that you get to rape children? The fuck is wrong with you? When you only make up 16 million of us, why should you get any sort of special treatment? Why should you be allowed to do things, horrible pedophile things that nobody else is allowed to do? Come on, you have the floor now. You have the ability here to make me look bad, and you explain how I'm wrong about everything I'm talking about. You tell people how metzitzia is okay. Tell people. Oh, come on. Let's hear about why metzitzia should be tolerated. Why binding of Isaac rituals and the whole bottom of darkness thing should be tolerated. Soul correction and all that shit. Come on, let's hear you. Let's hear these acknowledgments that you're gonna make. The Talmudic shit. 3 years in 1 day. Come on, talk about it. Bro, just admit that you voted for Harris. Duh. Like, talk about a reset, right? You're so stupid, that's what you do? Why would I vote for the broad? Why would I vote? Voting has been proven. When AIPAC put Trump in 2016, if you still believe in shit after that, you're a moron. But I definitely wasn't going to vote for the broad with the Jewish husband and going to have the Jewish vice president. That sounded horrible. No, thank you. But that's what you guys have. You guys have a bunch of like preset arguments that you can go with. So the whole Kamala thing that's years old now. I mean, you're still talking about that bullshit. That's one of those pre-programs. You can't talk about metzitzia. Let's talk about metzitzia. No, I want to talk about Kamala Harris. She matters. Oh, it's so embarrassing how stupid you guys are. That's the worst part, right? It would be one thing if every time one of them came through, they were just so fucking smart that, at the end of the video, I was just like, damn, what am I going to do now? He debunked everything I have to say. That'd be great. That would mean I would have to work harder. That would mean I would have to, get myself to learn more. At this point, it's as obvious as it gets. There is no need to I can make the best argument for us eradicating that cancer pretty easily. And I can definitely make a better argument against them than they can make for them. Because that shit is just, look at what they do. Look at the crybaby everything. everything they can possibly try to distract with. Nothing about about answering for what's being said. Not one of them is like, metzitzia is horrible, we need to get rid of it. Not one of them says anything along those lines, ever. Because they're sick pieces of shit. And they're all guilty. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to know who built that motherfucker and when. Marion Hill Missions. Yeah, that shit's insane. Wow. Sure, that has a really unique story behind it. That ain't worked. Dad, he addressed how we're pedophiles some more. You keep feeding me. Keep feeding me this bait that proves how fucking disgusting you are over and over again. Oh, it hurts my feelings so much. Oh, gosh. Amazing, man. Amazing. And you guys should be like, you guys should really be paying attention to this, because again, this is what we lose to. This is who is controlling the world that we live in. We are allowing this absolute fucking trash, this trash, to be in any sort of control is just, it's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. And they're just, you know, they're diabolical. They're disgusting. They're just, they know it, we know it, everybody knows it. Right? I'm so confidently arrogant. Yep. Or ignorant. Yep. Yeah. Again, why don't you tell me which part I'm wrong about? Every single statement these pricks make that doesn't actually address what I'm saying addresses what I'm saying. Okay? It's telling you the truth. If they had some great argument to say, if they could put me in my place, or they would. They're not sitting on the dynamite argument just waiting for the right opportunity to say something. What are you doing? Go! Oh, Jesus. See, here we go. More dumb shit. You're Y-O-U-R wrong about everything. There you go. The dumb coward can't even use the blanket disagreement properly. Y-O-U-R wrong about everything. They're fucking morons, man. This is inbreeding at its finest. Right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Nobody should be subjected or oppressed by something this awful and stupid at the same fucking time. Nobody. And you know, your blanket, I'm wrong. So metzitzia not a thing, huh? You don't practice metzitzia? You guys don't practice soul correction? You guys don't believe in the 3 years and 1 day dowry thing? Yep. You just believe in everything else. All of the other things that your dumb beliefs say, you practice those to a T. But these certain things, you're like, oh no. No. We don't do that, I swear. Well, we need to let them know a pedophile's going to show up then, huh? Somebody call the Marion Hill Missions and let them know that a pedophile named Kyle should be there, or says he's going to show up. They might want to be on the lookout. Piece of shit. Yeah, you believe in shutting up again. Why would I need to shut up? What's wrong? What am I saying that I shouldn't be saying? Like, seriously, you're this dumb, you're this childish. You know, your whore mothers and piece of shit rapist fathers couldn't raise you to be any smarter than this. You understand that, right? I mean, I hate calling your mother, who was a child, a whore, but she was sold. I don't know, it's like she was bought. That her services were purchased by a much older piece of shit. I don't know what you fucking what you guys have to, you know, how you can get around that, but that's the truth. Especially all you Hasidiotics. You know, we know the fucking truth there. It's disgusting, man. You're a slave. Your mother was a whore slave. It's disgusting. The whole cult is just disgusting. And it's like, you know, it makes it difficult. Because at the end of the day, they're all basically victims, right? And if they're all basically victims, what do you do? But for me, I have, you know, I have the belief that as once you get to a certain age, that victim mentality, you know, especially in the real world, the victim mentality can't be your only excuse. But it's hard to imagine in such a pedophile, disgusting cult where all of these things are happening all, and because of that, you know, it's normal. It's just it's everyday life for you. So what does that say? Like, at some point, you're no longer a victim. You're not only are you well, why are you whining about what we do? Somebody has to care about the Jewish children. You guys don't. It's fucking awful, man. It's horrible. It's horrible to think about. It's horrible to even begin to imagine, like, what the fuck are these kids put through? You know, the Bottom of Darkness article is shocking. It's shocking. It's overwhelmingly fucking insane. Hard to read. Not only is it hard to read because of what it says, it's the only website I've ever been to that they try to make it as almost impossible to read it as it can be. It kicks you off over and over again. It takes you to different articles. It throws up these crazy ads that it's fucking weird. If you're not determined to read it, you'll quit because it's just so fucking irritating. They have 2 Bentleys. Crazy. It's disgusting, man. Man, there sure are a lot of cops out today, boy. It's fucking time, guys. It's time we eliminate this threat. It's a threat to everyone. It's not, you know, sure, saving the Jewish children is what has to be said, right? Because in a world where you say, you know, let's just eliminate the threat, people are gonna be like, oh, you can't say that. It's a bunch of crybaby bullshit. Man, they are everywhere today. Crazy. That guy's looking back at the cop. This guy behind me has a mask on while riding by himself. And he's really worried about the cop that's behind him. It's a black guy. White people, you just don't understand. I might look like this, but let me have a black person in the car, and I'm suddenly black too.
Really great advice. Excuse
So I know what that feels like.
The purpose of your plot, your stars are all at war. Aligning them in spot. You move around the floor, you dance upon it. You're so much better than you say. Your blatant use of force only proves you know the way to improve. The way you play is to force them to retire. Police were formed to round up.
Hey, little Dick Joey's here, crying about his little dick. What a surprise. Oh, man. I'm telling you, we need to do something about this shit as soon as we can. It's happening daily. It's getting worse by the day. And maybe it's getting better. Like, you're seeing a lot of video and shit of Israel getting fucked up. And that's a good thing. Like, I'm all for that. So, hopefully we can, hopefully somebody takes out Netanyahu, Ben Gvir, Trump, all those people. Like, hopefully somebody takes out the bad guys. I'm all for that. They're bad people. They need to go. Trump's a pedophile. There's no other way around that, and pedophiles deserve to die. So, definitely doesn't deserve to sit in some cushy jail pretending to be next to Ghislaine.
I'm no Skywalker.
Wow.
I can't go solo. I'm just a talker. I'm Marco Polo. But when it all comes together, nothing is better. I'll always say never to those who oppose. Connected forever. We shall endeavor to rewrite the letters. It's time to explore.
Where is the bonehead? Alright guys, go get your free download and shit. www.the-buildgroup.com. It's free.
Israel's apartheid of Palestine is disgusting.
Free to download, free to share with people, free to listen to, free.
Why the toilet's always flushing on
So go check it out.
But it's not all over. You need to like that. Oh, you're not. I'm knocking out. I'm no Skywalker.
So yeah, have a good day. You pedophiles, kill yourself. Go get the free stuff. Go check out the links, all that stuff. But yeah, pedophiles, kill yourself. Trump is God, says a pedophile. Go figure.